The sixth lesson that I have learned during this COVID-19 era is that the society and the world at large does not assign any value to the existence of a man. I have learned that the reason why every man works so hard so that they can achieve something for themselves, or they can become better, or they can be able to make a better living for themselves, is because no one, including the man themselves, cares about a man. Let me explain. As a man, you will only be valued, you will only be loved, you will only be cared for what you can do, only for how useful you are. Stop being able to do what you can do or what you are doing. Stop being useful in the way you are, and you will realize that you will have no value at all. Number two, men have no inherent value. Let me explain. Women and children are valued simply for being in existence. However, for a man, you have to struggle. You have to work hard to be noticed, to be valued by what you can do and how useful you are in that society. Let me take an example of a war. When there is a war anywhere, the first people to be cared for are women and children. Women will have leverage to the extent that people like Boko Haram take time to abduct young girls and not young boys. When you look at donor-funded programs, and they are many, the target and the focus is on the woman or the child. Very few programs exist that men can enjoy. It is no wonder the transition for a young man from being a boy to a man is a painful transition. Not many boys want to go through it. Why? Because you cease being valued for existing, and now you must be valued for how useful you are. You must be valued for what you can do. A man's worth, therefore, must be proved. You must work hard to prove your value. It is not the case for a woman. It is not the case for a child. It is the sad reality of life. And if you fail, if you don't succeed, my third point is that you become a nobody, you become a useless being. A woman will preserve their dignity. A woman will preserve their value. A woman will preserve their being, their existence. A good example is, if a woman fails in academics, if a woman fails in a job, in a career, if a woman fails in business, she can resign, retreat, and she can become a mother. If you fail today as a man, I promise you, all the honors you had will be stripped of you. You will become nothing, no one, and no one will care about you. For example, if you are a man and you have worked hard and you have achieved a few things and you are successful and you happen to have a child with a woman somewhere, best believe you will be taken through all the court processes. You will be harangued in public. You will be soiled in public. Your name will be tarnished for having sired a child with a woman whom you're not married to, and therefore you must care for that child. If the same woman is impregnated by a man who is a lowlife, who has not achieved, who is not successful, no one will mention it. The society has learned never to question, never to mention, never to ask, never to bring to the attention of the public about this man who was not successful but impregnated somebody's daughter. Let me give you another example. Do you remember this man? A very successful and well-accomplished media personality. A person who probably wined and died with the high and mighty. Where is he now? When is the last time you heard about Louis Otieno? It got so bad that Louis had to be kicked out of where he's living. He had to dwell on well wishers, helping him to push through a day at a time. And yet, when he was successful, when he had made something for himself, everybody wanted to associate with Louis Otieno. Do you remember this other one? His name is Othuol Othuol. This gentleman, once responsible for bringing smiles and laughter to your hearts and to your faces in your living rooms, when he was struck by TB, tuberculosis, and he could not be able to go and deliver what he was delivering before, it became difficult for people to identify with him. People shunned him, people avoided him. Othuol Othuol was reduced to well-wishers sending him simple small alms to survive a day to the other. You can imagine he's battling TB, the medication, the stigma, and now the lack of funds to even be able to do anything for himself. He was abandoned. He was avoided. In retrospect, if you are driving down a road and you find a man with a flat tire, I bet you 10,000 shillings, most of you will drive by without looking, without asking. However, if it is a woman of whatever age, standing by the roadside, with no problem, just looking at her car, I promise you, more than 90% of the people passing by will stop to ask, are you okay? Can we help you? Why is that? Because a woman preserves their value. A man's value must be proved. I have realized that it is very important that you and I, fellow men, one, invest heavily in our health. It is the greatest asset you can ever have. As a man, as you work to struggle and make a niche for yourself, make a space for yourself in the world, you are better off doing that when you're in good health. Number two, I have learned that it's important to focus and invest more in my education, in my career, and in my mental health. These are things that help me and build me so that when everything else is stripped away and I have my health with my mental faculties, I can live to fight another day. And number three, very important, invest in good, healthy relationships. Have friends and family who will come to you and sort you out when you need them. Have friends and families who will be there for you and they will go all the way with you. Have friends and family who always have your back.